glad that you're back tuning in again to our video series. This will be an advanced chalk art video because we're going to be dealing with two different Calvary scenes. And so we want you to kind of stay in tune with us and go along with us and practice with us if you want to. And you may want to go back and tune in 2 or 3 times to this. And maybe do this background 2 or 3 times. We're going to take our chalk, this is white, and you have to understand now that we're going to be doing an invisible picture. If you're not comfortable with using edges, then you need to check and look at our Chalk Art Made Easy video, which goes over all those edges and how to shade and so forth. You need to check into that if you're not comfortable with doing this. You notice I'm having to put this down very heavy. The reason is, to do the invisible, we've got to put down a heavy white layer. This will allow us to hide our invisible picture. And you can see I am putting this down pretty heavy. All that gray area of our paper has got to be filled in. We're using a heavy felt paper that's made for us called Gray Bogus paper. You can order this off of our website, and it'll be listed a number of times. Chalk and all can be ordered off of that. So just check it out and see what you need, and you can let us know. You can also use MasterCard and Visa now if you wish. So you can check the website, and it'll give you full details of that. You can notice the layout I'm making. A good rule of thumb is drawing your invisible picture is how far it is to the back of your room. If it's a long, narrow room, then you'll want to lower your horizon line so that you have a larger figure, a space for a figure, in your drawing. So keep that in mind as you're laying out your drawing area. We've got to have a big enough space or a big enough figure that's going to show up in the back of the room. Now, this is just simple layout right now as we're preparing for our black light. That's white pastel. I'm going to use light blue next, and I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to tone this paper a little bit. You can see it's very crude, very rough. No fancy stuff here because I'm just doing the background. And I will come in with an eraser in a moment, and we will blend this and tone this into the paper a lot better. But right now we're just putting a light layer. I'm using the flat of the chalk to put this on. I'm going to use dark blue, and I'm going to put a little bit of dark blue up in here, okay? Just to give us a little depth in this area. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. We'll tone a lot of that out with our eraser. But I do want this top up here to be a little bit darker. I'm going to put dark blue across the bottom. I need a heavier dark blue across this bottom, like this. Then up in here, I'm going to take the flat of this chalk, and I'm going to tone this paper with that same dark blue just a little bit. Now you can put this very fast. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it because you're going to change it, especially with your eraser. Now I'm using an eraser I've had for 20-something years, and you can get one. Any school teacher has this type of eraser. They're better. It's got the black and the white and the black. They're just schoolhouse erasers. So be sure that you try to find you one like that. We're going to chalk with this eraser. Now, I haven't put my hand on this yet except the white. I wanted to set that. So keep your hand off of it unless you want to set it. If you want to set it, then you can put your hand on it. Now we're just putting this in here just a little bit. If you need to add a little bit more color, add a little more color. Come in here. Erasers move the chalk. Your hand sets the chalk. Keep that in mind. We're going to draw a head of Christ into the sky. Hopefully it will be one that you'll want to do over and over again, many presentations of. I'm taking the time, I'm just blending this in with my eraser, holding this into the paper. See, if you touch that eraser on there, it's going to take off some of that chalk. It won't take off a lot, but it will take off a little. I'm just going to put this in here, just on the paper, just blending it in. I'm going to make strokes all the way across this, and it'll smooth this chalk out, and hopefully make it look nice and rich looking. Okay? Sometimes I'll add a little black on the bottom, not a lot, but just enough to tone that a little bit darker. The more you rub this, it seems the better it gets, so keep that in mind when you're doing your drawing. Okay? I'll take a little bit off my eraser and make that a little darker. I had some excess on my eraser, so there's no sense in wasting it. I'll just put it on the paper. Now, when I get that done, I'm going to take my hand and I'm just going to lightly rub the excess of that blue into that white area. As I said, it's going to be done very fast. I'm not trying to be exact, but wipe your hand off. This chalk will hang on your hand, and if you do not wipe off the blue, it's going to smudge that white. So keep that in mind when you're drawing. Have your hand rag handy so that you can use that. I'm adding a little more white up here. This paper sometimes has a tendency to some of the chalk kind of slide off, so you might want to check that out. I'm going to take the white, and if you notice, I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to change the look of this cloud just a little bit, okay? Put a little shading up in here. Coming in here. And then when around the little smudges makes a big difference in this. Nice little edges. I'm using the heel of the chalk here to cut this up in here. Cut those lines. Now you could spend all day, I guess, on this, all week if you wanted to, but there's no need in it to make it to where you're comfortable with it. You want it to look nice. Found out many years ago, the better pictures I draw, the more people bring to get the pictures. I give them away when I'm in services, and so it amazes me how many people work and bring people to get them. And it's great because there's lost people in numbers. I'm not numbers crazy, but it's nice to be able to bring lost people to hear about the good news of Christ. So this is a great tool. It's one that I hope that you'll work at, get better at, so that you can do more and more and more of these. We want you to be active in it. I'm going to take a tiny bit of black, and I am going to put a little bit of black across this bottom, just to make that a little bit darker. Not much, I just use the flat. And I'm going to take an eraser. I actually use two erasers. I have one for dark tones and one for light tones, and so I keep them handy. And that lets me not have to worry about cleaning an eraser. I'll tell you what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to take some visible fluorescent. This is gold. It's visible. There's 6 colors in a box, and you can get those off the website too. But it's a neat color to use because we can make it show fluorescent, but it will also show up the color as we're doing it. So you can see the gold, of course. The black light, it will show up. Very brilliant. So I'm going to take my hand here and I'm just going to drag a little up like that. Now I'm going to slowly go to the black light and show you what we're talking about here. I'm going to pull it down just a little bit. So kind of watch that as we kind of slowly move into the black light, and it'll show you what we've done just with that little touch up. It's going to kind of give you kind of a spot where the sun might be coming up out of those clouds. Can you see that? All right, that's visible fluorescence. There's 6 colors, and we'll be using those periodically. So to now go into the black light. I recommend that you get you a picture that you like to draw, or like to draw with or of. This is what we're going to be drawing tonight in the black light. And you can kind of get you a picture of it. I'll hold it still, and our cameraman can take a good look at it. But this is the picture we're going to put into the black light. So why don't you take some paper, if you have it, lay your cloud out if you wish to right quick, and why don't you practice this just a little while. Then we'll get ready to do this picture in the black light in just a little while after you practice this, all right? Welcome back. We hope that you practiced that and you're all ready to go. We're going to show you the colors of the invisible chalk. There are actually 17 colors of this chalk, and there again you can order them off of our website. But it's really critical. If you're going to do the invisible pictures, you've got to have the invisible chalk. So we're going to kind of zero in on the colors for you. And we'll get our cameraman in space, in a position that he can take you a shot, and you can see all the different colors. There's some variations of some of these colors. You can't get all of these colors now because some have been discontinued, but most of them, 17 of them, are still in where you can order them. So check out the website, and I think you'll be totally thrilled when you get these, okay? You need to have your rag handy. You can already see my rag. If it touches in your hand, if you don't wipe it off and you touch the white area, it's going to smudge. So you're going to have to be sure that you keep your hand clean, okay? Now this, we're using the flat of this chalk, and I'm very lightly putting this on. You can darken it, but darken it by not pressing hard. Take your time on this and lightly put this chalk on. I think you'll be absolutely thrilled beyond measure at what you can do by using this invisible chalk. Now this, I'm laying this picture out, okay? It's very lightly, taking my time. You don't want to get in too big a hurry, because if you do, it will show up. And I like for people to walk in and look at my pictures and wonder what's there instead of being able to see it. Now, if you make a mistake and you get your hand too hot and heavy and you press too hard, and sometimes if you rub this too hard, it will it'll show up. So the best thing is to take your time and don't get into too big a hurry, and that way it'll work out better for you. We're going to lay this out, hopefully, so you all can see it and be able to draw this, okay? And the mouth is critical. The lips, I should say, are critical. You can't have it too off, because it will look strange. So be sure you take your time with this and make it work for you, okay? if you mess up, you can correct it, but most people mess up because they try to go too fast. If you'll take your time, you'll find yourself not messing up near as much. If you can, there's two ways to do it. You can take a rag and you can wipe out that spot, and but when you do that, you have to put your white back on there to hide your picture, and it's kind of touchy that way. So best way is don't mess up. Just take your time and do it right, and that way you won't mess up so bad. If you really mess up, it's just a little bit messed up, you can take your little Scotch tape and you can rub that area and put the tape down and rub it just lightly, and then you can lift that off. But when you do, lift it off very, very carefully, because it'll grab the paper and it'll go down, and then it will rip the paper if you pull it up too fast, okay? Now I'm going to leave a little hole in this shadow area here, because this hole, I'm going to have a tear coming down the side of this face. So don't get too wild. Be sure you leave a big enough space. A lot of this chalk, we don't want to rub together or run together. Keep it back away from each other. Some colors will blend good, some will not. For instance, if you put blue and yellow together, you're going to, in the invisible, you're going to get pink. So you may not want pink in the particular place you're trying to put it. So I recommend you back off. Don't rub it all together, and that way you won't have that kind of a problem. So you might experiment with some of it, get the colors and check it out, and just see how it works for you. You may like those colors. Some of them may really work for you. Now this eye, you need to keep that eye. We're going to be drawing the eyelid. You need to have that eyelid almost. It's not how hard you put it on the paper or how loud you put it on the paper. It's the fact that we're putting out a message that will draw attention to the Lord and what He did for us, okay? This is I hope what you think is a beautiful picture. It's one that's very powerful, okay? I want to change colors. That's orange, and you can use yellow orange if you need to. I'm going to lightly blend that. I mean, I am barely here again touching that paper. I don't want to have a hard mark on it, but I do want to lightly blend this. Just going to wipe off your hand if you're going to smudge it, okay? Too much, because we don't want it to get all over everything. I'm going to go to the color gold. This is gold invisible fluorescent, and I'm going to use the flat right here on this, and I'm going to kind of build the base of that a little bit. I want to make that crown of thorns almost three-dimensional if I can. So I'm going to put this gold on this. I'm using the flat now, so you don't have to have it too strong. If you mark it hard, it will get brighter color, so let's don't go too crazy. This is the gold, invisible gold fluorescent. So keep that in mind, okay? Barely pushing it on that paper. I'm going to take this same color gold now, and I'm going to highlight this face a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit. Please take your time on this. Don't go too wild and too fast. Even if it takes you 3 hours to do it, it'll be better than you trying to do it in a hurry and messing up so bad. So I am lightly putting this on there, okay? This is gold. We'll highlight a little more with yellow. hand, we're just using this gold. Our Lord's alive. He's not dead. So we want to use the orange tones. We don't want to use flesh tones because it'll make him look like he doesn't have any blood in him. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Use oranges for your hands, your face, your feet. Okay? Everybody got that now? All right, I'm going to go to yellow. I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to barely smudge that, just enough to kind of drag those crown of thorns out a little bit so that they have a little length to them. I'm going to smooth this down just a tiny bit so if there's any excess on there, well, it won't show up. Okay? Now I'm going to the yellow. You need to be real careful here because you don't want to make too big of or too bright an area, but we do want to make this look like it's kind of three-dimensional on these crown of thorns, okay? We'll put a little hotter. Some of our yellow ends up a little greenish, but it still looks very powerful on this right here. If you've never tried an invisible picture, you're in for a tremendous treat because when you do one of these and you hear the crowd and how they gasp as you turn on the black light, you'll be hooked from then on. So I hope that you'll really work hard on this. That's what this teaching series is all about, to get you going and keep you going, because we want you to do this. It's our passion to keep you doing this chalk art as a ministry to reach people for Christ. It's one of the most powerful ways that we have. Okay. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to highlight just part of this a little bit with this yellow. Not a lot, just a little. I'm going to come up in here and I'm going to make our eyelash and eyebrows show up just a little bit. I'm very lightly putting that on, and you can see how much it's showing up. So if you were to press really hard, it's going to show up big time. The secret to making your black light really, really work good is get your room dark. So you keep your room dark or get it dark, and you'll be able to cover it tremendously with this chalk. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit in here, a little bit of this eyelash, eyebrow, lid, I should say, so that you can. Now, put a little bit in here, as if this is a little highlight in here. Light's hitting that cheek. Not a lot, just enough to make that cheek pop out. And I'm going to wipe my hand off. And I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to just barely drag. Lightly now, don't drag hard. Just lightly drag that down. See? If you need to add a little more, add just a little bit. Not much. Now let's look at this lips on this. I'm going to put just a little bit of this yellow on the top of that. Right there. A little bit on the bottom of it. Not a lot. Just a little. A little bit right here. And then a little bit on his beard. Okay? Now, lay that down. I am going to take this right here and I'm going to blend this like that. Now this is kind of tricky, so I'm going to take light blue and blue. On this light blue, I'm going to run a little bit of a color, like a light blue tears coming out of that area, and we're going to drop it down in here like this. Just enough to show we have a tear dropping in here, to show how much he cares for you. I'm making that a blob because it'll be actually the background of what we're going to put on here. Okay? We'll lay that down for a moment. This is blue-white. Now I'm going to take blue-white and I'm going to lightly run blue-white up in here to make that show up. I'm actually going to put some on the outside also to make it look like a teardrop falling in there, okay? I'm going to take that blue again. A little bit of this goes a long ways. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take this blue. It's actually a kind of a devastating blue, but it's just called blue, invisible blue. And I'm going to run this down like this. Lightly touching it. And I'm going to put like it's got, like we're put across. Okay? Now I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to blend this like that into that paper, very lightly. Okay? I'm going to put another one right over here. Like at the foot of the cross. I'm going to put another one over here. Drop this one a little lower because I want to come below this one here, like this. Okay? We'll sit that down a moment. I'll take my hand and I'm going to blend that lightly into that white. I'm going to take blue-white, that we put on there first. And on the inside of this cross, I'm going to put a little bit of this blue-white to make this blue pick up. If you're in a pretty good sized room and you put this blue on there, you'll lose this blue in the back of the room. It's that intense. But by putting a little bit of white or blue-white on it like this, it'll still show up. So keep that in mind when you lay this out. I am going to take my hand, I'm just going to lightly blend that in there like that, just barely smudge it so I can hopefully keep that from showing through so much. I want to take a good while to do this. I don't know how long it took me to lay this out for you, but you may want to take even more time than I have. I'm going to be turning on the lights and I'm going to slowly bring them up so you can see the picture fade away. And then we'll turn out the black light and we'll start drawing, okay? Now there's my light totally on. There's the black light off. As you can see, you should not be able to see that over there, okay? You can see a little bit of this where I put this cross down through here because it came out into the area here. Nobody will ever see what you've drawn. If you do, and if you are worried about it, it'll take you some white, and if you want to extend some of that like that, it won't hurt a thing. Just don't go into this area where you put the cross very much, or it'll show up. But you can do that, and they'll never be able to see it. So it's great stuff. It's good stuff. I hope that you'll work hard at it. This is the hardest part of this picture, is getting the black light. And it's the hardest part of any picture. So that's where we are. So why don't you practice it a little while. We're going to get set up and kind of move our chalk out of the way here and get ready to do the foreground for you. So thank you for practicing, and work hard. And we'll see you in just a moment or two. Thank you. Well, we're glad you're back. This is Larry Sinclair in our video series of Advanced Chalk Art, and we're going to finish this first Calvary scene for you. So I'm going to take dark blue. Now this is pastels now. We're back in the pastels. And we're going to run us a little hillside here and probably bring it up into that fluorescent area, because we want to make this look pretty good in here. And we'll bring this down just a little bit. Be sure you bring this over far enough. When you lay out these drawings, kind of pay attention to the way we have things laid out, because it's going to be important in your drawings looking similar to these. So be sure you have the same type proportions. And I'm rubbing this because with this visible fluorescent back there, I want to be sure it's not going to shine through this area. In other words, I want this hillside to be kind of a silhouette against that sky, and with that fluorescence, it will show up. So I am taking my hand and rubbing it in. Be sure you have your rag handy now, because we'll need to wipe our hand off periodically. So you can see how smooth that looks by doing it like that. And I'm taking light peach, which is a pink-looking color, and I'm going to bring this in here like this, and I'm going to put me some highlights on this hillside. Just like, well, we got a little snow way off in the distance, and we'll put a little in here. I'm going to drop it on the inside of both these hills here. Kind of make them something like that, okay? Now, I'm going to take yellow-green. Now, this is just pastel again. And I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow-green in here, something like this. And we're going to start building us a little valley back in here. Now, I'm going to bring this over far enough, because I'm going to have a cliff hanging here, and I will bring it about a third of this page, so keep that in mind. And so we want to bring this back far enough that this mountain goes behind that area. So kind of match what I've got. And your picture won't be too far from what I have laid out here. Okay? Now this is just a rough area. I'm just laying it out with an edge. And I'm going to repeat again, edges are so critical in making your drawings work properly for you. So if you're not used to doing edges or don't know what we're talking about, or not familiar with it, you really need to get our Chalk Art Made Easy video so that you can understand what we're really trying to get across to you. So I'm going to lightly rub this, just the excess off with my hand. I'm not trying to embed it in the paper, but I want to make it look pretty good for you. So I'm going to take turquoise. This is one of our blues that we have, and I'm going to, in this way distant area here, I'm going to use turquoise, and I'm going to try to make this turquoise area a little valley back in here. And it's kind of hard to see, but I'm doing that on purpose, simply because I want this valley to kind of grow as it's coming towards us. Now I'm going to take dark blue, and you can see I'll put me a little tree line here out of this dark blue like that. Just put you some little trees. Everybody will think you're so good when you're through with this. And I'm going to take another one like this, and we may go even a little higher with it. Just some little bump on bumps. Run some little trees. I may run some little trees like this, call them cedars of Lebanon. It's not hard, but little squigglies. We're not trying to be perfectionists, but we want this to look like a tree area from a distance. So you got to keep that in mind. We're always worried about the back of the room and if they can see or not. Now this is yellow, and I'm going to take yellow and I'm going to run a little bit of yellow underneath that line we put across there. And the reason, it's like a highlight, like the sun is hitting underneath that little hill is coming across there. This is like there's a tree line way in the distance, and we're kind of hitting underneath that area. And I'm just barely using the edge, just kind of playing with it and trying to make it look like these hills are rolling, coming towards us. So work on this. This is good stuff, and everybody in the country will think that you're the greatest thing there is. As long as we can get the message of Christ across, well, that's super. So keep that in mind. Now, you should see a progression of depth coming towards you in this picture. And if you got that, you've already got everybody captivated. And that's our motivation. Get their attention, and it's quite easy to tell them about the Lord. Now I'm going to take black. Black is our darkest color. We will probably put a little green on top of it, probably dark green, to tone it down a little bit. So keep that in mind. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put some of these little trees that look like this. We call them cedars of Lebanon. They're just little, straight little trees. And then we're going to put us a hillside, something like this, kind of rough and ragged. We're going to come out here a little bit and we're going to make some drop-offs. I drop my chalk and we get another piece. Sometimes that'll happen, so you don't worry about it. You just grab another piece and go. But all we're trying to do is fill this area. These cedars of Lebanon, they run in groups of 5, 6, 7, 10, a bunch of them. So bear that in mind as you're laying this out. You may have a whole herd of these things. So keep that in mind and make them work for you. This is dark green. I'm just putting a little bit of this on there to tone down that black. Okay? I am going to run a little bit on these green trees. Now let's take our hand and I'm going to just barely touch that a little bit and kind of blend that with my hand lightly. I'm just lightly blending it. Nothing hard. I just want to get all those little areas showing out of there so that it's more a smooth look. Okay? Now, I'm going to take the brown, just regular brown pastel, and I'm going to, where I've got this cliff here, I'm going to cut me some areas that will make this look like it's different layers of cliffs. I'm going to have one back in here. It may just go in there, and then I'll have this one coming down here like this. I may have this one here going back towards there, or back behind there, and I'll have this one in front. And we'll put some backlight on that and show you how to make that work. This here, we're going to highlight this area here and here. I'll probably bring this like this, and then we'll put a little there. You can see it's not fancy, it's very crude, but it's very powerful when you get through. It'll just amaze everybody that you're able to show such depth in your pictures, and it's really not that hard. Two ways to show depth, remember. One, light to dark, or little to big. Either one or a combination of them. So keep that in mind when you're drawing your pictures. We've got to show our depth and make it work good. So work hard at that. Think about it. Practice these videos. Go over them and over and over until you get them to where they'll work good for you. Now I'm just putting a highlight on a highlight here. Now I'm going to come in with blue. This is just pastel light blue. And I'm going to put a little bit of backlight on that. Can you get a good look at that? It's not a hard tone on that paper, but it's enough to break up that area. I want it to be a backlight, okay? There's always a backlight. Here, broke my chalk again. Here we're going to put backlight like that, okay? I can even make this into a rock sticking up like that. It's very easy and it's lots of fun. So kind of watch this and practice it and practice it and practice it, and you're going to get better and better and better as we do this. Now this is a new color. It's called Eggplant. I've been using it quite a bit, especially on this drawing, and I'm going to come up here. I am going to add a little black to it in a moment. I'm going to put us a hillside, something like this. I'm making a rough hillside out of this. I'm covering up part of the cliff I had, or the mountain area I had laid out. Don't ever have any of your lines butting against one another, such as you don't want this line coming into this line. In other words, you want to break that up. The composition of your picture will be so much better if you'll do that. So keep a lot of things to remember, so don't get frustrated. Just keep working at it. I'm adding a little bit of black. I want this a little bit darker than what we have here. I could have made it all black, but if I had it would have been really harsh looking, and I don't want it that dark, okay? Alright, I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to blend some of this together, like this. Here again, I want to keep some good crisp lines if I can. You can always darken this up a little if you need to by adding a little more chalk. And you see I'm blending this with my hand. Here I just want to be sure that that's going to okay. Now let's I'm going to take yellow green. We're going to put try to make some depth into this hillside. I'm going to take yellow green and I'm going to put yellow green right up in here like this. And I'm going to bring it back past that rock. It's going to be a rock there, so see, it don't look like a rock. Well, we hope it'll be in a minute. We'll work at it. This is going to be a cliff now. I'm going to take regular green, just this green pastel. I'm going to put a little bit of green pastel on top of that rock. I want to tone down that color of that a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. A little bit of green on there. Okay? I'm going to take this green and I'm going to run it right in here like this, this little top knot of the hill is on the other side of that area right there. So be sure that you are able to see that, because we want to cut this hillside into this area here. I'm taking the edges and I'm cutting that in like that, going down this hill and heading that way. I want to go on down to that area there. Now I'm taking yellow. This is just yellow pastel again. And I'm coming into this area with that yellow. I want to brighten up this corner, because I'm going to put another set of trees and rocks on top of that, and I want to be sure that it's going to show up. So I'm going light to a little darker to lighter, and it kind of gives you a flow of depth. I don't know why, but it just works. So keep that in mind. There is a flow to depth by going light to dark to light to dark to light to dark. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here. We want to get as much depth into this picture as we possibly can, okay? Now, we've got this laid out. I'm going to take brown, and you can use dark brown if you wish here. We're going to add a little black to it later, but right now we're going to put brown on it. I'm going to add brown into that area, into this area, like that. I'm going to cut this rock all the way down through there, and it's going to be overlapping those, okay? This one here, I may do the same thing, except I probably will have this one overcutting there, okay? So please don't mess things up and go too fast or get things too far out of shape, because we want this to be good. So keep working at it. Don't get too wiped out. If you make a mistake, go back and change it a little bit. Now's the time to change it, okay? Now, if you're drawing this in front of people, you're going to have to be sure that you don't change it too much. So sometimes if I mess up and I don't like the way that looks there, well, I'll come back in and I'll just take my hand and I'll change that by rubbing it against that green and wiping it out. So there's some little things you can do and never stop drawing, and that's what I hope that you'll practice. Just keep on going. If you mess up, most of your congregation is not going to know that you've messed up, okay? So keep that in mind, and your picture will turn out just great. So just don't get frustrated on it, okay? Now, that's brown. I'm going to come with light brown, and we're going to put a little bit of light brown in this area here just to highlight those rocks just a little. It's not a lot, it's just a little. And I'm going to highlight it to the point that it'll kick it out a little bit, and we'll put a little bit of dull peach, which is a tan color. It's the closest thing to tan we have. And then we can hopefully make it pop out pretty good, okay? I'm cutting this in with my edges. I want that to be a little bit more brighter area there on the edge. Same way with this one. Do the same thing here. I'm going to brighten this up. Turning that edge so that I get a good crisp edge on the front of that, okay? Lightly blending this like this. Now, sometimes I'll take brown or dark brown, especially if I want to cut another rock in on top of that. And you can see where our values are here are pretty close. So I may want to do this, and then I may want to turn around and highlight that with a little more, or even maybe put a little black on that rock. So I think I'll put a tiny bit of black to make that pop out a little bit, okay? Like just around that area there. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to highlight that in a moment with dark green, with dull peach, of tan color. Just want to darken this up a little bit so that it'll pop out in front of those other rocks. Okay? Now, let me take the light peach dull peach, I should say, the tan color. Let's highlight the highlights here. Let's put a little bit here. See it pop that out. Now, I've got this right here. I'm going to highlight that rock right there. Maybe throw me another one in right in there. I like this one. See, if I darkened that a little bit, I was able to make that kick out a little bit. Sometimes you need to do that if the values of those colors are too close. So, I'm going to take dark green, and this dark green, I want to try to kick out this a little bit before I go to that area of my hillside over here. I want to kick this out a little bit and make it show like we've got a little green area here. Plus, I want to put some grassy looking area here. Then I'm going to take this and go underneath here. Like that. And here again, I'm going to start cutting my grass areas, or the edge of those grass areas. I'm going to run this up in here like this. Turn that down just a little bit. I have been known to take my brown, throw me in some more rocks in here, like that. Come back with my light brown, tone that up a little. We've got those rocks just hanging on the hillside. Put me a little dull peach and do that. Okay. Now, I'm taking that same light peach, dull peach, which is a tan. Light peach is a pink color. We don't want that. But if this is dull peach, it's a tan color. It's a very good color for us. And I'm going to add a little light area here, and I'm using dull peach to do that with. It's our tan color. Okay? I'm going to take black, and I'm using it's not a charcoal stick, but it's similar. It's a hard piece of chalk, and it makes it a lot easier to work with on these little tight areas like this. So you might, it's almost like a charcoal stick, so you might check that out and see if you can find it. It's a hard piece of chalk, and this is black, and it just gives us makes it easy to go around this stuff. Put some shadow areas in here, okay? Almost like a line drawing. Same thing up here. Get a nice shadow area. If you get out too far, I'll make it a little broader. This one I want to bring all the way up through here. We've got another drop off right in there. like that. Even back in here, we can put another drop off. Okay? Now, let's, I'm going to take a little blue again, this light blue, and I'm going to run this back light on this rock right here, back in there like that. Also this one here, I want to make it back in there like that. Okay? Now that should give us a pretty good look on this area here. You could go around those with the black, but I don't think there's any need of that. I think it's going to pop out very, very nicely. So, okay, let's. I'll get to this little hillside over here in a minute, but I want to take that same hard black. Now, if you use a soft black, you sure better have a good edge on it. Okay, but I'm going to put 3 crosses on this hill. They don't have to be huge. They only have to be close together. But I'm going to put them there, and then I'm going to take that visible gold we talked about, visible fluorescent gold, the same we put right there. And I want a good edge now, because I'm going to come down the side of that cross all the way to there. Be sure and wipe your chalk off, because if you get some of that black on it, it's going to smudge, going all the way down to the hillside. When we turn the black light on, it's going to show up this gold. And these crosses will pop out. So you don't have to do this, but if you don't, those crosses are not going to show up the way you want. I'm also going to take that same color, and I'm going to go in this area and make it look like we've got a trail coming this way. Now, if you go down below that, you better over that hillside there, you'll have to take your finger and smudge it, wipe it out. You can make this however you wish. I've got it going down behind that hill there, but I may want to have it coming up over this hill. And I may want to have it winding around all the way this way, and then coming down this way. It should get bigger as it's coming down to the front. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, you want that to look like it's coming over that hill. So kind of be sure it disappears and then appears like that, okay? I'm going to set that down. I'm going to take my regular black pastel, okay? Now we use some cedars of Lebanon, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take them up into that gold fluorescent area, because I want this to pop out pretty good, okay? And I may want to run a few more. I am going to take my green, dark green, and I'm going to go on top of that. Up here. I'm going to smudge that just a little. Don't get over into that fluorescent or you'll make a big mess, so keep it back. I am going to tone this down so that I'm blending that green, dark green into that black, okay? I'm going to take brown pastel. Just brown pastel, and we're going to repeat what we did on the other side. I'm just going to put us a rock here, and another rock here, a little highlight on it. So we'll make that rock back behind there. This one too. This one I may want to bring all the way down. Like that. Just putting rocks on rocks, so keep that in mind. Everybody's mind, but just the work you do on your rocks, the work you do on your hillsides, they will be totally amazed. Now, I usually draw to music. Some people like to talk when they draw. That'd be fine. It'll work. You may want to have someone read passages of Scripture. That'll work too. Somebody give a testimony. That'll work excellent. But I want you to do these. Don't put it in a box and don't say, I'm thinking about doing it. Get busy. Order your chalk off the website if you need to. Get our other teaching video, Chalk Art Made Easy, and even the others we have listed there. But you need to get started so that we can share the good news as fast as we can before time runs out on us. Now let's run some lights through this. I actually use three kinds of lights. I use the lights I draw by, and then I have blue lights and red lights, and then the fluorescent light. So let me run some color of lights on this. These are red lights we use, and you can see the clouds will begin to move a little bit. I'm going to have to go slow because of our camera, because I want it to grasp everything. But you can see that the reds will really start changing things a little bit. Reds erase the red tones, blues erase the blue tones. But as I turn this on, that's just straight red. This is blue added, and you can start seeing things change. I mean, it starts moving things around. I can even highlight it with more blue. I can take off the red, and when I do, you're going to see this fluorescent color is going to show up even under those blue lights. That's just blue lights, red lights, no fluorescent yet. It's not on yet. Now I'm going to go back to the white light, and I'm going to show you one other light that we use. I use a spotlight, and I'm going to have to set it for you because I want it to have an impact on this picture. I usually set the spotlight wherever my black light is at. So if it's in this area here, let me take a moment to set this for you. I think it'll cover most of that. But when I have the spotlight on, I can take off my other light. I can even have the red lights on with the spotlight and blue lights on. But when I put the fluorescent black light on, you see I have my invisible picture just about hid. And by rotating my blue lights off and my red lights off, my fluorescent picture is still hid. But then I can change my black light by taking off my spotlight. And it actually looks like I've got a dimmer on my black light picture, but I really don't. I'm just taking off my spotlight. And then there's your total picture, black light picture and foreground picture. Now this is great way to show the good news of Jesus Christ and how much He loves people, me and you. And it is our job and our joy to tell people about the good news of Christ. I hope that you'll take this and use it and just allow Him to use you like you've never been used before. I've enjoyed cutting this for you, taping it for you, doing the presentation. I want you to practice this one, maybe a number of times. In just a little while, you can come back on this tape, and we're fixing to add a second picture for you. It'll be a different Calvary scene. It'll be a lot simpler than this picture. So practice this one. If you want to look at the next picture, that's wonderful. But I want you to try this. Be sure and check out our website. Many of my pictures are listed on the website. You can order all the materials through there. You can also order it Visa and MasterCard. So we're trying to make things accessible for you so that you can take advantage of this wonderful, wonderful media. So thank you for trying it, and do more of it, and then come back and take a look at the next picture in the next presentation. Welcome back. This is Larry Sinclair, and we're involved in our advanced chalk art video series, and this is, I'm doing 2 Calvary scenes, and this is presentation number 2. So we're going to kind of change gears a little bit and change it a little. We're not going to do invisible on this one, except just a couple of strokes. I do want to talk to you a little bit about lights. We use incandescent bulbs to draw with. That's what makes this chalk so brilliant. You can see it really pops out by shining the light on it. So I'm using actually 2 200-watt incandescent bulbs to draw by. Now, when I use the red lights and blue lights on there, I'm using a washer light that we cover with theatrical gel. I'm using the darkest red and the darkest blue, and but they're 100-watt reflector spots. You can't leave them on very long. You have to rotate them so that it doesn't burn that gel off. So keep that in mind if you're trying to get your lights set up. And then, of course, we use fluorescent black lights to make the invisible picture show up. Now, this is a very simple Calvary scene. Here again, I'm using gray bogus paper, and you can order all these materials, including the paper, off of our website. So you can check that out. And if you need to use credit card, we have access to credit card for you. So you can check all that out. I'm going to use yellow to start with. We're going to put kind of a yellow area like this. Make it as round as you can. How high or up, it's up to you. I'm going to put it fairly high up because we want to make this area up high and stand out. So you might keep that in mind. I'm going to take my hand, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to blend it into the paper. Now, I'm rubbing it pretty good. I want all those areas to be smoothed out if I can. Something like that. Okay? Sometimes if I don't want a harsh break between the yellow and the cranberry color I'm about to use, I will take orange and run a little bit of orange pastel around there, something like this, just to break up that yellow area, okay? Just like this. Then we're going to add the cranberry tone, okay? All of this is pastel, but it will show up a little bit under the black light. Now, if you notice, I'm rubbing this, but I'm rubbing it away from the yellow, so keep that in mind. I'm actually going to blend it all into the paper eventually. Just rub it on out. I'm laying my hands flat on the paper and just kind of rubbing it like that, okay? Just easy. If you have to keep rubbing it to make it show up for you, okay? Now, this is a cranberry color. It's not red. It's a type of a red, but under the lights, it really does look well. And so I'm going to go all the way around this with it. I'm going to come down, across the bottom. I'm actually going to engulf that circle in it. So bear with me as we lay this on. Now I'm going to take the flat and I'm going to go around like this. I'm not rubbing it heavy on there. It will show up, trust me. But I am putting a circle of this on there. If you're having trouble making the circle exactly right, well, it's not that critical if it looks better. So try to get it as round as you can. Now I'm just using a flat there and filling that in. I'll do the same thing over here. This cranberry color. So basically all I have used is a little bit of orange around that yellow, all pastel, okay? Now, I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to pick up an eraser. This is my darker eraser. I use two kinds of erasers, one for light tones and one for dark. But I am going to go all the way around this with this eraser. If I have any odd colors on there I don't wish to get into the middle of my drawing, well, I'll keep them on the outside. So you can see a little bit of black showing up, which is fine. I'll take care of it when we put all the way across with this, go all the way across with this eraser. I'm blending this chalk into the paper. That's what the eraser is for. It blends the chalk, moves the chalk. I'm not setting the chalk. I'll set it with my hand. So right now I don't want my hand on it. I'm moving the chalk around until I get it the way I want it. And I'm using the eraser to do that with, okay? Just keep on blending it around. Kind of smudge that area, so we'll go back and add a little more in here. Try to wrap that yellow with this cranberry color, just like that. I'm going to blend this on out. Using the eraser to blend, move my chalk here, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, there's not much to this picture until we get down to the nitty-gritty. But it's a good picture, and you will like this picture. So, and it's one that you can do, and you can do in a hurry. So keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to try these. I hope I can make them simple enough for you and clear enough for you that you can handle these immediately. I'm going to take my hand now and I'm going to wipe off any excess chalk that's on that paper. And there will be some. I'm going to smooth out around this circle. I'm not rubbing that circle yet. But I am taking off any excess around it. Some people worry about pastels being messy and flighty, and they do get on your hands. But that's what your rag is for. If you'll wipe your rag off like that, it's not going to come off on you. So keep that in mind. Get you a good rag, have it handy, and be sure you wipe it off. Now, if you get your face wet or you have makeup on that's kind of greasy, well, I guarantee you, if you touch your face, it will show up. So keep that in mind. Kind of keep your hand off your face, and that way you won't smudge yourself. Now I'm going to take my hand, and I'm going to start blending that cranberry color into the yellow area and the orange area. Just a little bit. I want to blend that to where it's a nice, smooth transgression between the yellow and the orange and the cranberry. I want that any line. I have been known to go into the middle and go out with it in case there wasn't enough to get rid of that line. I want that line out of it. Okay? Tried to take it out with the eraser a while ago, and it didn't work too good, so we'll just blend it out with our hand. Okay? Now that we have that pretty well finished, I'm going to take invisible fluorescent yellow, okay? I'm going to slowly go into my black light. So the camera, I want to go slow so it can pick up everything. But I'm going to take the invisible yellow. This is red. We'll be using the invisible red in a moment, okay? You can see the yellow showing up just a little bit. But I want to put a little more of the invisible yellow in this area. A little bit goes a long way, so keep that in mind. I'm using a flat here, I'm not using an edge. I just want to blend that into this area. I want that to show up like that, okay? Now then, I'm going to go back to my white light. I want to move my light back on so that I have that showing, okay? Now, I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to blend that out into this area. Now you may have to turn your black light on if you're troubled with it. In fact, I will do that for you so you can see how it's going to work. I'm going to slowly go into this area. Okay? And you can see I'm going all the way around with it. I want to make this a glowing looking area. Just slowly moving it out a little bit to make that a nice round circle area. Okay? Alright, I believe we're ready to go in this picture. This is what we would have laid out in front of the public. This would all be drawn right here before you start your presentation. This is the moment we will start drawing to the public that's watching you. So we're going to start with violet. Now, violet, you can do it violet first or black first. I think we'll back up. I'm going to use black first. This will make it a little faster and easier for you. We're going to draw a hillside way in the distance. So I want this hillside, and I'm going to use black. I'm going to have this hillside coming down, and I want it pretty rough, pretty ragged. And I'm going to have it something like this. Good edges now. But I want this hillside to be dropping off like that. Over here I'm going to do the same thing, but I want it to kick on out like this. Good edges. I want to bring this black down all the way, but lightly. I'm barely rubbing it into that paper. I just want to tone that color there, that cranberry color, just tone it a little bit so that it won't be so reddish looking, okay? Now, I'll take my hand. Be sure that you keep your edges nice and intact, okay? So I'm just taking my finger and I'm just going around this black area like this. Now I want to rub this up here because I don't want that yellow or that fluorescent tone shining through this black area. I want this to be pretty much of a silhouette, okay? Of course, we'll be toning this with color, so I can mess up a little bit. We'll fix it in a minute, okay? Same way here. Come up here. Be sure that you try to stay out of your edges, but I want you to blend that all the way to that edge, okay? Soap and water will take off this chalk off your hands. Some people like to put some goop on their hands to keep it from sinking in so heavy, and that's fine. Some people have even used rubber gloves. They didn't want so much on their hands. I don't like the feel of the rubber gloves. It just doesn't, you can't get a good feel of the chalk, so I just wash my hands in dishwashing clothes and it does very well. Now I'm going all the way across with this, like this, just blending that chalk into the paper. Crosses on the hill with figures on that cross, and then we're going to on the hill, and then we're going to put our trail coming down in blood, or blood color. Now I'm going to take this violet I talked to you about. I went ahead and did this hillside. If I were drawing it in front of everybody, I probably wouldn't put this hillside in, but for you and for your sake, to let you know what's going on, I went ahead and put the hillside, okay? Now I'm just going to crudely put some areas like this. Like we've got some kind of stormy looking clouds coming down over the Calvary area, okay? I'm having trouble holding on to my chalk tonight, but we'll get it. And we just want this scene to look something like that, okay? Now that's just violet color. I am going to take my little finger or a finger, and I'm going to kind of blend that like that. Just kind of smudge it. It's kind of looking maybe foggy or misty in some of those clouds. We're just going to kind of smudge that a little bit. Wipe some of it off on your rag if you need to keep it from getting any all over everything. But we just want to make this look like it's kind of misty area. Now we're going to take that visible fluorescent that we had a while ago, and I want to take the gold, and very lightly I'm going to go around this like we've got the sun hitting the bottom of these clouds. Now I'm just barely putting that on there, but it's going to show up big time under the black light. So we just want to put a little bit of this in this area to make it show up well. Taking our time, not getting in a hurry. We want to kind of blow everybody's mind when they do see this, okay? So we're just laying this on. If you're drawing this in front of everyone, I guarantee you they will not know what you're doing. They think you're putting a little white on this little cloud. But when you turn on that black light, they'll be totally amazed, okay? So this is visible fluorescent gold. As you can see, we're still adding this visible fluorescent gold. We're trying to make this hillside pop out with these clouds, so I'm adding this underneath it like the sun's hitting the underside of those clouds. I think you'll really like this picture when you're through, so I'll show you a little bit what it looks like. We'll run the black light on this for you so you can kind of get a glimpse of what that cloud structure will look like when the black light is on. See how it takes shape? When that red shows up a little bit, it's actually not red, it's cranberry, but it really, really makes that area pop out, okay? And we're going to lay down the gold, visible fluorescent, and I'm going to go to my brown tones on this. This is going to be a hillside. We'll come back and add the three crosses with the figures on it. But right now, I'm going to use brown. And we're going to make this brown, I am going to to bring this in as another little hillside in front of that one. So let's come in here, and I'm going to take my brown tones, and I'm going to come down here. You can see me turning that chalk over because you need good edges on this. Same way here, coming down. I'm cutting this in with an edge. You see me turning that chalk and roll it like that. If you're having trouble with edges, be sure and get our Chalk Art Made Easy Techniques video. It'll answer a ton of your questions, and it'll really help you with your techniques artwork. So check that out. You've got to be able to use these edges to really gain your speed. And that tape is good for not only beginner folks, but it's good for folks that's been doing it a long time. It'll bring back good stuff to your artwork that maybe you've forgotten or gotten bad habits and quit doing. So check it out, and I think you'll really like the picture. Okay? And you can see we're trying to make this as rough as possible here. I want it to be crude, but I want it to be rough and ragged, and this hillside is really rocky coming off of Calvary, so it was and is. So keep that in mind as we're doing this. We want it rough and ragged, but we also want it to work for us. Now, I'm going to go into what we call light brown, and I'm going to add some light brown in here just to give us a little different look into that area. Here again, I'm putting some edges, and I'll pop it in, trying to make some of this cliff area stick out further than the other. So we can do that by color and size. So all for the purpose of making our picture come alive. That's what we want to do. I enjoy cutting these for you, but they're going to be in vain if you don't do them. So get your chalk. If you don't have chalk, be sure and order it and get started. You can get paper and chalk and all off of our website, and it will richly help your artwork. Okay? Now I'm going to blend a little bit of that in there like that. I'm going to kind of make this hillside stick out in front of the back hillside, because I want it to, we may add a little light blue in there and make it look like we've got a little foggy area back in there. Now before I work on these front little hills, I'm going to add a little bit of a dull peach, which is a tan color, to kind of pop out the highlights on this cliff. Not a lot, just enough to make it look like there's some lighter areas and the light's hitting those areas, okay? We don't want to go too fast for you, but I do want you to be able to not burden you with this tape, but I do want you to be sure you see this and see it well. Now I'm going to go back to my brown tone. I'm taking brown, just visible brown, pastels, and I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to start cutting this little hillside in here. We're going to drop it like in this area. We'll make this one tie into it. We'll just kind of blend the chalk in like this. And kind of set that one in front of that one there. This right here I'm just going to cut. Now, no two pictures will be alike, but I'm going to kind of fade this in here like this. Drop this in here like this. We'll just bring it into this area. We'll match those, okay? This one I'm going to cut this area, this into this area, like that. We're just making some little rocks is all we're doing, okay? This I'm going to drop in here like this a little bit. And I'm going to come back with my light brown. And I'm going to highlight this area just a little bit. Trying to make these little rocks look as nice as you possibly can. Now I'm doing a teaching video here, so if I were drawing this in front of everyone, like a presentation for an audience, I would probably finish this in about totally 15 minutes. I use music normally. Sometimes I will preach as I draw, but most of the time I'll play music and then I will share the message afterwards. So it's according to how you wish to do it. You can do it many ways, but the main thing is to do it. Don't say, oh, I'll do it later, or no, that looks too hard. This is not hard. It's you'll do it the way I'm showing you and trying to teach you, and if you'll listen to me and do what I ask you to do, I guarantee you'll be able to do this. And you'll just be thrilled with the response that you'll have. Okay? So I'm using, this is dull peach. It's a tan color. Now I'm going to bring this on across like this. I'm going to start running a little valley in here now. Just kind of like this. Okay? Now this is that same dull peach. I'm not going to put a heavy touch on this, but I want to put some of these little wedges here, like I'm building this little valley scene. Dull peach, which is the tan color we've got. Now I'm going to take this dark green, and I'm going to, you see, I'm just going to start blending this valley in here like this. If you want to run this one in there, it's quite all right. But they have to be wedges, and they need to get larger as they're coming towards you. Keep that in mind, because to show depth in the picture, everything has to work bigger as it's coming your way. So the front ought to always be bigger than the back, or darker, or both. Okay? So that is very, very important. Now, if you want to highlight that a little more, take that same dull peach we used, this tan color, and run a little bit of color right underneath that line, and that'll kind of pop out that valley, like there's some sun maybe hitting underneath that area. We're just kind of making it look like it's coming towards us all the time. Now, before I add rocks on the sides, or little hillsides on each side, I want to come in with my light blue. And I'm going to try to make this area look like we've got, I want it to look like we've got a little foggy area back in there. And we're going to run that all the way down through here. So let me run this. This is light blue, just pastel. I'm going to run this right in this area like it's kind of foggy. I'm also going to bring it up in here like this. And we may just run some of that up in here like this, like it's a foggy area, running up behind that little hillside there. Now if you want to run it on up in here, that's fine. But be sure you stay out of that light peach or dull peach, tan color, so that will kind of pop out there. Now if you messed up the light peach, or you want to run a little more of it in this area, I would take me a small piece, and so I could crisp up those areas like that, and maybe lightly run it like it's back in that area, okay? Like it's all flowing back behind this hill. Everybody will think you. I'm going to take black, and we're going to add some pretty good sized rocks in here. They can be all kinds of shapes, forms. You can have them jagged, you can have them round, you can have them however you want to have them. I am going to fill that in pretty good. You can see some of this is not showing up because there's black there, but we will fix that, okay? So that will all pop out pretty good. I'm going to add dark green on top of that because I want it to show up that well. I'm going to put some real jagged rocks here and kind of odd-shaped rocks. We want this pretty massive looking. Okay, now that's the black. I'm going to take the dark green. I'm going to put a little bit of dark green on it just to tone down the black. This is dark green. Of course, it's the same value, so you'll have to. It's just to tone down the black. Black just gets so harsh looking if you don't put something on it. And dark green is a good tone to put on it. Okay. So you might try that. You can try green if you want to, but it seems like dark green works the best. So you can see how it tones it down pretty good. Now I'm going to take my hand and I want to come down the edge of that. I want to blend this in, the green into the black. I want to get rid of any of the colors that's shining through that chalk, such as the hillside. I don't want that coming through the ladder. I want shadows and highlights on there. We'll also be putting some backlight on these rocks to make them pop out pretty good. This is a very, very nice picture. It's one I'm confident that any of you can do, and you can do very well. If you'll just remember the layout, you may want to take you some notes. You may want to even take you a picture of it some way so that you can have a 4 to 6 and lay in your hand if you need to. Just do it enough that you can have it down pretty good before you start doing it in front of people. But it's a very, very powerful picture, and I know that you'll be very pleased when you start doing it in front of your friends. I'm going to take dark red orange. This is a rusty looking color, but it really looks nice on this chalk, okay, on this background and so forth. So I'm going to run some of it in there like that. I'm going to run this down here. Put a little backlight on that in a moment. I'm going to run this one all the way down like this. I'm going to have it back in the area like that. Maybe some in here. Probably just on that side there. We'll run a little backlight on that. Backlights, there's always a backlight. How much you show them is up to you. But I found out they really make the rocks pop out. So you might want to really consider. And we're going to come over here and do the same thing on this side. We'll begin toning, shading these rocks. Okay. And I'm going to cut some. We're going to drop them below the others. And we're going to here again, we're going to use edges now to go down these rocks. Here, I'm going to cut that one in on there. When I say cut, I mean I'm going to have the backlight go like that, okay? I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to have a highlight on this edge. We're going to make that rock back behind that one there, okay? I'm going to do that, but we'll use a backlight. We'll cut it in. This one, let's just bring it over. Maybe we can put a little pump in it to make a jagged part on it. And we'll just close it in like that, okay? Now, when you're doing your backlight, if you want to take your light blue, and we'll put our backlight right across the top of that like that, across the top of that one. This one, we're going to cut it all the way into that one, and that'll give us a backlight. And you can kind of see it kind of defines our rocks and makes a whole different look to these. Now, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go all the way back into that area there with that one. This one, if I wanted to, I could take this completely out by just rubbing it, and then taking my rock and putting a backlight on it like that, and I can make that rock go past that area there. It just gives a whole different look to your hillside, your rock side. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut this one back in here like that, this one here like this, a little bit here. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit, just enough to show that there's a highlight, backlight on that rock. Now this one, we're going to cut in here like this. That's fine. You could just do all kinds of stuff by cutting these rocks in here. I'll do the same thing here. Put me a nice little edge on that and cut me a little highlight on that. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this light peach color. It's almost a pink, but I'm just going to barely put a little bit of this on this edge, okay? And all my purpose here is just to make that edge pop out a little bit, like there's some little light areas. Okay, just along the outside. We may cut it in there like that on some of those spots, like there's some light hitting that. Maybe run a little back in there. When I run my lights on this in a moment, you'll see that my lights will pick up on this color and kind of make it show up a little bit. Kind of gives us a little pizzazz. Same thing here. Just putting a little bit. Okay. And from the other side, do the same thing. Just a little bit. Just in those edges. Just to make them pop out a little bit. I was asking one of my classes if I was putting moisture on my chalk, and I said, no, I'm just kind of blowing off the excess if there's any stuck on there. So you see me do that, it's strictly by habit. I'm just trying to, I don't want it to have too much there. So I'll just blow off any excess like that. Here we go again, just a little on this outside. Just to change the tone of that color. This one, since I'm a little closer, I may put a little more. Okay? Like that. Now, we've got this done. At this time, I'm going to take a piece of hard black chalk. And if you don't have a hard piece, you need to find you a charcoal stick or something like that you can have a hard piece, because we're going to put 3 crosses up here. I'm going to put them kind of like that. This one I'm going to kind of run to the side. This one over here a little further away. Okay? On these crosses, I'm going to put some glorified stick figures. Okay? We want to do this, and we're going to hopefully make it pop out pretty good. I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put a head, a body. I'm going to put a leg or 2 legs. And the arms, I'm just going to have like that. Very simple, 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 simple. The Lord, I'm going to put here, just a little bigger. I'm going to put his legs. I'm going to put his arms like that, okay? This one, a little smaller, a little further away, legs, arms like that. Now, I'm going to take that visible gold, same gold we put up there on the cloud. I'm going to get me a fairly sharp piece, one that I can put some nice little edges, and I want to go right down the side of that cross. Don't smudge it, if you would, please. I'm going to go across the beam like that. And then this figure that's hanging on the cross. Be sure and use good edges on this. Not on the Christ, but on this 2 outside figures. We're going to put a little bit down the cross, and then on the body. Be sure you wipe your chalk off if you get into the black. If you don't, it's going to smudge when you go back on it. So be sure you do that, okay? Now, after I get through with the visible gold, I'm going to go to the invisible red. I don't mind you seeing it. I'll show the black right to you. It's invisible red. What we want to do with this, I want to outline this cross because I want everyone to know that the blood of Jesus is the only thing that's going to set them free of sin. And Jesus Christ, the Son of God, left heaven to come to this earth to die this kind of a death. You and I might be set free of sin, but it's through his blood and our accepting his blood that sets us free. So I'm taking this blood color and I'm absolutely putting it on pretty heavy because I want it to show up. When I get through with that, I want to take this color and I want to go underneath all of these 3 crosses with the blood. Because his blood, even though one accepted him, his blood was for him. But the blood was also for the one that did not accept him. So it's for everyone that's willing to trust him. So I hope that you'll think about this picture, because we're going to take this and we're going to run a trail down this hillside. When we get down in here, we're actually going to go behind that hill. And then I'm going to come somewhere over in here, and I'm going to come over that hill. And then we'll start working our way towards the front, okay? As I'm coming towards the front, I want that path to get wider. When you do that, it gives you a straight path to Calvary. And aren't you glad it's all level at the foot of the cross? You can draw this picture, and it is so powerful. Now we're going to run through some lights on it, and I'll show you how neat it is. I'm going to use some red lights on it. You can see how powerful the red is on this picture. You can start seeing things change just with the red light. Then I'm going to go to the blue lights. Not fluorescent, just blue. These are washer lights. They're reflector spots, but they're covered with theatrical gel. That's blue and red on there at the same time. This is just blue lights by itself, not fluorescent. And you can see how powerful that is just in those colors. And you can't leave that on a long time. It'll actually burn off that theatrical gel off those lights. Now I'm going all the way back to the lights with incandescent lights. And then I'm going to put the fluorescent light on there. And you can see the picture now in the fluorescent black light. I'm going to slowly go to it. And I want you to watch how massive and powerful that is. Aren't you glad that He gave His life for you? Now this is a simple picture, but it is a powerful picture. And there's no reason you cannot draw this. Get our videos, check it out, and get you some chalk and paper, and you can get all of this off of our website. Our website is www.sinclairministries.com. And you can just check everything out and go through there, and I think you'll be totally blessed when you start doing this, okay? So let me hear from you. Our email is on our website also, and you can contact me and let me see how things are going. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for viewing the videos. Thank you for taking part in them. And good drawing. And keep drawing for Jesus. Thank you.